Morning everyone, how are you all? Today it's a sunny Saturday and I thought I'd put on my sunshine, not cashmere, it's like a knit jumper. It's very cheerful. I got it just recently from Never Fully Dressed. You might not like it, you know, my style is quite like bright colours. But anyway, that's where it's from. I think it's nearly sold out. Their stuff sells out really quickly. But what I thought we'd talk about, I've got notes. What we're going to talk about is this dressing your age ridiculousness. Now, if you are watching this and if you have been with me, whether you're new, in which case welcome, and if you're one of my regulars, welcome back. If you are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever age you are, I want this video to speak to you, because this whole dressing your age thing and feeling the need to tone ourselves down as we get older, I think is completely ridiculous. I will never do it. I will never do it. And this video is actually in response to one of you. So last week I did a video, or when was it? I think it was Wednesday actually. I did a video where I spoke very briefly about this whole dressing your age thing. And I said in that video, I think it's completely ridiculous and I certainly won't be following this trend, if we want to call it that. And I was saying to you guys, doesn't matter how old you are. I was like, I get some of you and you're not even that old. You'll be like 50s, 60s, and you'll be like, oh, I feel like I'm having to tone myself down and I've got these things that I really love, whether it's handbags or clothes, and you're saying to me, I feel like I can't use them anymore because I feel too old. And I say that's a load of absolute rubbish. Like, there is a stronger word that I would use for that, but I'm not going to use it on this channel. But it's absolute rubbish. And so I'm going to share with you some, like, a little bit of a history lesson actually, because I was like, where has this nonsense come from? Guys, it's from the 18th century. I'm going to go through the information I found. We're going to talk about it. Then I'm going to talk about just what I think about it and about my tips and advice on how to shove this stupid, outdated, sexist, ridiculous comment in the actual trash where it belongs. You do you. You do you. You need to wear what makes you comfortable. You need to wear what makes you happy. And I'm also going to talk about why I think dressing your age is nonsense and why I think it's actually more about dressing for your shape, because there are certain things like with my body, there are certain elements that don't look so great and others that I prefer to sort of highlight. And I've just learned to dress over the years in a way that makes me happy and feel confident. And I think that's more something than actually this whole dress your age thing. And I briefly need to say, this video is inspired by one of you. You left me a lovely comment after that last video, as I said, where I was talking about this. And you said, as I remember rightly, you said you're in your 70s and you had a handbag, a Chanel handbag, and someone had told you, like, don't use it, you know, for whatever reason. And you were saying that what I spoke about very briefly in the last video had made you cry because it touched you. It made you think, you know, yeah, you know, maybe I should just go and do what I want to do for once and not sort of conform to this societal pressure. Okay, so where has this come from? Let me tell you where this stupid thing has come from. The concept of dressing your age, also known as age-appropriate dressing, is a long-standing Western tradition of age ordering, which patterns cultural expectations and social hierarchy according to age. Historically, this concept is rooted in the idea that people, particularly women, it's always women, sorry to say it, and I do have men watching actually, so I would like to say, for any of the guys watching, have your say in the comments, you know? Please let us know what you think as well, because I can tell you one thing. My husband, my dad, my brother, they don't go out and judge women. They don't. If anything, like my husband in particular, my husband will say to me, oh my God, have you seen that lady? She's dressed amazing. There's no men in my life who would ever judge a woman and say, oh, she shouldn't wear that. Like, and if they did, they'd get one of those for it. But I don't know any guys that do it, even like my male friends. And so I personally feel as though, and I'd love to get your thoughts as well, some of the pressure of dress your age actually comes off other women, in my experience. In my experience, the comments, I'm really lucky, I don't really get much horrible comments, but the comments I do get about appearance and what I wear and what I choose to spend my money on, they're not from men, they're from other women. And I think that as women, we need to support each other, build each other up and not tear each other down. So it goes on to say, historically, the concept is, oh, I've already said that. I'll say it again. Historically, the concept is rooted in the idea that as people, particularly women, women age, they should adopt a more covered up, less showy and darker toned clothing to reflect their maturity and decreased sexual visibility. I'm sorry, can we talk about Joan Collins? How old is she now? She is sexy. She looks hot. I can think of so many older women who look wonderful and embrace it. Demi Moore. I mean, some of you might say to me, well, she's had lots of surgery. Well, that's what she wants to do. She may or she may not. I can't comment on that. I'm going to be having a facelift when the time comes, for me, not for anyone else. But, you know, there we go. So here are the historical roots before we sort of unpack all of this. Structured life changes, 18th to 19th century, literally. Since the late 18th century, clothing has been used to mark specific life changes. It was used to display social and cultural differences, making age distinctions visible. Why are we still playing by the rules of the 18th and 19th centuries? Why are we still doing that to ourselves? I'm sorry, but it's ridiculous. Then I'm going to briefly mention a saying which I've actually got something quite funny to tell you about at the end. But you know this mutton dressed as lamb thing? So sexist. Listen to this. The mutton dressed as lamb adage. This saying, which is over a century old, was used to call out women who dress too young for their age. It reflects a deep-seated societal judgment against age defiance. This is what I'm talking about. That's the background of all of this. Now you know where this nonsense has come from. And hopefully a lot of us are sat here going, the 18th century? Why are we still following these outdated rules? They're ridiculous. Okay, so I've got to tell you this before we get into it. I'd gone out for dinner with David. I think it was lunch actually. This was a couple of years ago. And we were chatting, and it was quite a busy restaurant. And then the server comes over and putting the food down. You know when they put the food down, so you stop talking, because otherwise it's a bit awkward, isn't it? Depending on what you're talking about. Anyway, put the food down, and just as it went quiet, as it fell silent because we stopped talking, we heard these two ladies on the table behind us, and they were probably like in their 60s. And one of them she was talking quite a loud voice, and we just heard her say, "Forget mutton dressed as lamb. What about mutton dressed as ram? Why does no one talk about that?" And David and I looked at each other and we started laughing, and we were trying not to laugh because, do you know why we were laughing? Because I'm like, bang on, sister. Like, that is what we're talking about. Like, not to be horrible to men. I'm not here to be horrible to men. But why is it that men get off so lightly with so much in society? But again, if you're a guy watching, you might disagree. You might say, well, actually, there's pressure on us to be this masculine thing and to like be whatever. And there are societal pressures. I don't even know where they come from. It's ridiculous. But there are these ridiculous societal pressures on just everyone and gender and to be something, or, you know, and expected to be something. And it's just ridiculous. So I thought that was quite a funny quote. Now, a lot of you have told me that as you've got older, you feel invisible, you feel not sexy, you feel judged, you feel that you can't wear what you love anymore, you feel all these certain ways. And I just want to say, my grandmother, rest in peace, I loved her to death. She died in 2017. My grandmother, she died at 104 years old, and she was young until the end. I want to say she was very lucky because she didn't go through any dementia or any Alzheimer's. She was just herself right until the end. And that's why, to me, 50, 60, 70, 80, it's not old. That's why, to me, it's not old. Because with modern technology now, like medical interventions, etc., people are living longer. And so, to me, 104, yeah, that's pretty old. 70 isn't. Like, in my view, my mum is in her early 70s. I don't look at her and see her as old. She still looks fab, and she still wears what she wants, and she still, you know, feels good about herself. I really don't see it as a thing, and I don't think that any of us should. Now, what I will say is, if you're watching this going, yeah, it's all great you saying that, but I still feel the way I feel, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to get confidence out of thin air. I'm not going to tell you to buck up your ideas and to go into your wardrobe and put on the dress or do whatever you want. But I am going to say, just know that you aren't alone. There are so many women out there who will feel the way you feel. And start doing things that make you happy, irrelevant of what other people think. If you want to put loads of like fun bag charms on your handbag, and that's like going to be your initial way into being you again, do it. I actually had one of you, I won't name you, but you were, I hope it's all right to say, you were talking to me as well. We were talking about this. And you said that you'd wanted to buy some makeup. That was a long story, but you were saying you wanted to buy this makeup, but you didn't buy it in the end because you felt that you were too old. And I just thought, you know, isn't it crazy how society does that to us? Makes us hide ourselves, makes us dull ourselves down because society's like, oh, you're old now. Oh, but the men who are old, Silver Fox, George Clooney, yeah, still got it. But women, when you surpass a certain age, no, you don't have it anymore. Like, I'm calling that out as ridiculous. So what do I do? Okay, so I'm a woman in my early 40s and I wear what I want. And I personally, as you probably have realised, I don't believe in dress your age. I don't believe in it. What I do believe in is dress for your shape. So, for example, even when I was in my 20s, I could never wear a short skirt. I have unsightly legs. I don't like my legs. When I put on weight, it's where the weight goes. It always goes on the bum and on the thigh. I don't like them. I have worn skirts before, but I generally tend to avoid them. And if I do, I like to wear like a maxi dress or like something that's like mid-calf, but do it like Dior chic, you know, that kind of thing, like not too like matronly. You can do it in a way that looks cool and that looks purposeful but doesn't look matronly. Nothing wrong with looking matronly. I'm just saying how I personally do it. And I think that that's the thing. And this goes for men and it goes for anyone, okay? I think that know your best bits and know your bits that are maybe not so great and dress accordingly. And as we get older, those things change, you know? Your body starts to change and you have to maybe adjust how you dress to complement the best bits and slightly mask the bits that you don't love so much. And that might mean that you can't wear the short skirt anymore. But hey, you can wear like palazzo pants, which is what I do. Or loose jeans with like a nice top, which is what I do. Or like a maxi skirt, which is what I do. You know, there are things that you can do to make yourself look banging and still look good and feel confident. Because I can tell you, regardless of my age, even when I was in my 20s, if I went out in a short skirt, I did not feel confident. I didn't feel good. And as I say, my legs, because my weight over the years has really yo-yoed, because, you know, I've had this on-off eating disorder for years where I wouldn't eat and then I would get over it and then I'd start eating again and then it would come back. Because of that, and because that's where my weight goes, the skin on my legs, I don't want to say it's saggy, but it's loose. And that's another reason why I don't like my legs, is because this constant weight fluctuation ever since I was 20 has just caused the skin on my legs to really suffer for it. And that's why in the summer especially, I just wouldn't wear shorts. I wouldn't wear a skirt, but I wear other like linen trousers, or I've learned to wear things that complement that part of my body, which is a part of my body I don't love. So that's what I would say. Forget age appropriate. It's nonsense. If you want to wear colour, if you want to wear black and white monochrome, if you want to wear red, if you know, whatever you want to do it and enjoy it and smash it and look good. But if you're like, okay, all I know is wearing a short skirt, but I don't really feel that way anymore, what can I do? Look at other options. Like, as I say, anything that balances you out. Or maybe if as you've got older, you've got like a tummy, you can wear tops that are looser fitting, or you can wear tops, is it called a empire line, where it stops under the bust and then skirts out, almost like a peplum. There are things you can do to make yourself look great. Now, one of my friends, actually just yesterday we were talking, she said to me, she's the same age as me, she said to me, she was like, oh, you know, as I've got older, my bust has just got huge. And she said, I can't stand it. And you know, when I dress in a certain way, it always shows up and it's annoying. And I'm finding that I'm having to change my style or customize tops to accommodate. And I said to her, I was like, well, there are things you can do about that. And we were chatting about it. And I said, you know, this kind of top or that kind of dress or this kind of jacket can minimize that and maximize your amazing legs, you know, and that's what I'm saying. So I hope that's making sense without me rambling too much. But if you are at any age in your life, like, oh my God, society tells you once you've surpassed age 29, you're washed up and you've had it. It's ridiculous. Whatever age you are, if you feel like you've had to dim your own light to fit in, please reignite that light. Like, that's all I'm saying. Do what makes you feel good and have fun with it. Play about with it. Think, do you know what? I always liked wearing florals. Haven't worn florals in years because I felt that I couldn't anymore. But this bit of my body is now changed and I can't wear the florals I once did. Buy florals, but buy florals that accommodate that bit of your body that's maybe changed in a way you don't love so much. Could be maybe the tops of your arms. Maybe wear a top that covers the arms, or, you know, these nice tops that stop about here, just on the elbow. You know, there are things you can do. Or maybe you're lucky and you've still got the figure and you still look banging. There is a lady on Instagram, and I wish I could remember her name. She's in her 60s. You might know her. She's very, very tall and slim with killer legs. And she'll walk down the street in like hot pants and like a top, and she'll throw her coat off onto the floor. I'm like, oh my God, the floor's dirty. Don't put your nice coat on the floor. That's what I always think when I watched her. But she struts down the street and she looks wonderful and she's embracing it. And I would never look at her and go, you're too old for that. I would never. I would look at her and go, oh my God, you look killer. But you know what's so sad, guys? I go and look at her comments section and there's women tearing her apart. No men. She doesn't have men there going, oh, you shouldn't. It's women being mean to her and being vicious. And I'm like, why? She's not hurting you. She's not doing anything wrong. Like, as women, why don't we all support each other and stamp out these ridiculous, outdated, stupid rules? So I hope if you've watched this and if you've been feeling sort of down or like you're trying to hide your light, I hope that this has kind of given you a boost and made you feel like, yeah, you know, I've watched this video. Maybe I am going to go to my wardrobe and play around with what I've got and my handbags and my shoes and my accessories and whatever, my makeup, do my hair nice. That's what I want to achieve from this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.